All right, it's about that time, according to the clock on my right. It's about that time. So welcome back to Charleston Community Baptist Church on this beautiful Sunday night. I hope you got a good nap. If you didn't get a good nap, I hope you got a good whatever you did this afternoon, meal, working, whatever you did. I hope it was great. I hope it was filled with excitement. Well, let's go ahead and pray, and then we'll jump into our evening service. Dear God, thank you for all you've given us. I thank you for this time that we can come and worship you in our singing, worship you in our study of the book of Proverbs, and I pray as the Holy Spirit applies it to our hearts that we will be obedient to you and not just be hearers this evening, but doers of the word as well. We love you just now, I pray. Amen. Sometimes, I went over this Sunday morning's message. Sometimes we think that worshiping, and some churches you see this, that worshiping is about the singer, it's about the song, it's about how we feel, it's about all these things. But the true heart of worship is not about me, it's not about anyone else, it's about God. So let's sing that chorus that's called The Heart of Worship. Music fades, all is stripped away, and I simply come, longing just to breathe something that's of worth that will bless your heart. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus. King of endless worth, no one could express how much you deserve. Oh, I'm weak and poor, all I have is yours, every single breath. I'll bring you more than a song, for a song in itself is not what you have required. You search much deeper within, through the way things appear. You're looking into my heart. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I made it. When it's all about you, it's all about you, Jesus. I'm coming back to the heart of worship, and it's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. I'm sorry, Lord, for the thing I made. It's all about you. It's all about you, Jesus. And that's what worship ought to be about. It should be about Jesus and worshiping him. And that's why we are here this evening. Sorry, I took a nap and I thought it was the next day. And this evening, We sung this song once. The next song, I am a sucker for Scottish, Irish type of sounds, the bagpipes and things. Oh my goodness, the Irish tenors, that type. I just love that type of sound. I was at my brother-in-law's house and he was playing this. And I'm like, oh man, that is awesome. His name is Robin Mark. Is the guy who sings this song. He's Irish, I think. So he sings some songs with an Irish type of sound. And so this is a song that he sings. It's called "Shout to the North." Men of faith, rise up and sing of the great and glorious King. You are strong when you feel weak, and your brokenness complete. To the north and the south, sing to the east and the west. Jesus is Savior to all, Lord of heaven and earth. Rise up, women of the truth, stand and sing to broken hearts. Who can know the healing power of our awesome King of love? Shout to the north and the south, sing to the east and the west. Jesus is Savior to all, Lord of heaven and earth. We've been through fire, we've been through rain, we've been defined by the power of His name. We've fallen deeper in love with you. You burn the truth on our lips. Shout to the north and the south, sing to the east and the west. Jesus is Savior to all, Lord of heaven and earth. Rise up, church, with broken wings. Fill this place with songs again of our God who reigns on high. By His grace again we'll fly. Shout to the north and the south, sing to the east and the west. Jesus is Savior to all, Lord of heaven and earth. And that's who He is. We ought to shout that everywhere we go, that He is Lord of heaven and earth. All right, Proverbs chapter 8, please. Proverbs chapter 8. I apologize, I didn't do that right, Cody. Proverbs chapter 8 is where we are. And for the past couple of chapters, we've been taking bites from Proverbs. The past 2 chapters, we've taken big bites. It was the whole chapter. But this evening, we will not do the whole chapter, just a few verses, 10 verses to be exact, about a third of the chapter. How many of you have ever filled out a resume? Until I moved here, it's been a long time since I filled out a resume, to a couple of years ago. And I found out that you just don't go to a store and give them your paper resume. You do everything online. Electronic resumes, and they'll give you a call. And then on resumes, how many of you like to fill out resumes? You do? I knew. I thought to myself when I did this, I bet June is going to be like, this is great. And it's something, it's the English teacher in her that does this. The part, I don't mind the resume until it gets towards the end. And you have to talk about yourself. Like, why should I give you this job? Because I need money. That's right, to give me the job. And you got to really, for Christians, almost prideful, because I'm the best in this. I do good in this. This is where I excel. I don't like talking about those things or trying to pump myself up. Or you go and you sit down in front of a person for an interview, and they ask, well, why should you have this job more than this person? Well, because she thinks that I'm awesome. What do you say? Well, here's what I bring to the table. Either like it or don't, but this is who I am. In this chapter, in this particular verses, we're going to kind of look at that angle, and we'll kind of use terminologies as it would in a resume as well. The title of the message is this: Wisdom's Resume. If wisdom was filling out a piece of paper to talk about herself, this is what I bring to the table. In these verses 12 through 21, kind of gives that idea. This is who wisdom is. And so filling out resumes is, in my opinion, is not fun, especially that section of the characteristics, accomplishments, those types of things. And wisdom is doing that here. We will look at some applications as we look at wisdom's resume. Here is the thought. If we're looking from that terminology, this is where we're going to look from. Here is the thought. We must hire wisdom. She must be part of our team. I have been at Taco Bell and things and other jobs, and if I'm already on the staff of that particular company and I know an interview's going on, I'm a nosy person by nature. I'm kind of doing my job, looking over there. I wonder what they're doing. Oh, that person looks nice. That person, oh, great. And then I would ask the person giving the interview, how did it go? And they'll tell me about I'm like, oh, you must hire this person. Don't let this person go. Offer them $100 an hour, but you see, this person must be on our team. With that thought, if we were hiring, if we were making a team of our spiritual life, wisdom must be a part of that. We cannot let wisdom go. So verse number 12, we'll see our first thought, or the first question that we may ask wisdom if we were interviewing wisdom. Verse number 12, I, wisdom, dwell with prudence and find out knowledge of witty inventions. The first question that we may ask wisdom, if we look at this verse, is this: who are wisdom's closest friends? Have you ever heard this? That you show me your friends, I will show you your character type of thing, right? Who you hang out with, who you associate with, is probably who you are as well. So who lives in wisdom's house? Who does she abide with? Who are her friends? Proverbs chapter 1 and verse number 4, we will look back there. To give subtlety to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion. Wisdom saying, my idea, my job is to give the simple ones knowledge and discretion. And the first thing that she says here is she dwells with prudence. Prudence. What does prudence mean? Now, prudence is I don't know if it's from maybe an old book, but it sounds like a name of a girl from an old book, Prudence. But what does prudence mean? It means self-control, good judgment, a life not given to impulse. For instance, we left here this morning. Stephanie, Tiffany, and Pam and Doreen, they went on to the house to get lunch started. And then I had to go to the store, so I was stuck. They were stuck with me. Cora, Caleb, and Reagan. They were with me. I said, okay, I've got a bad memory. Cora, you remember the barbecue sauce. Reagan, you remember the bread. Caleb, you remember, thank you, chips. He still remembers. And I said, whatever you're supposed to remember, you get to pick the type of chips, a type of bread, and whatever. So we are on the bread aisle. Reagan picks out her favorite bread, which is the Hawaiian rolls. Anybody has Hawaiian roll? Oh, man, she loves those. Because she loves those so much, we put 2 in our cart, which is what we require to eat. Then I said, just go ahead and get 1 more. Because I knew that people in our household could not be under self-control, not to just grab and eat. And then it's my turn with desserts. That was what I was in charge of. We see the pound cake. We put 2 in the cart because we knew it would take at least 2 to feed the clan that we were feeding. And then I said to Reagan, put 1 more in there because I cannot control my impulse with the pound cake. Self-control. How many times in our Christian life are we given to impulse? Whatever makes me happy, I'll just do. I just want buy, do. And that's what prudence is. Wisdom says, I dwell with her, which means I've got a good head on my shoulders. I just don't do whatever feels good in my life. There is good judgment. Prudence, it can be described as this: wisdom applied to practice, which means you know what you ought to do and you do what you ought to do. Many times we know what we ought to do, but how many times do we do what we know? Oh, I know that it's a smart thing to do this, but instead I'm going to do this anyhow. Wisdom applied to practice. And not only does she dwell with prudence, and she said, I find out not knowledge. The word knowledge there is understanding and perception. They see, she understands, and she knows. And then it says of witty inventions, which is just a word for discretion. What is discretion? I put this up there. Speaking of people, if you still use personification here, discretion would be a twin of knowledge. They go hand in hand. If you have knowledge, then you should have discretion as well, which means you apply the knowledge that you have. For instance, here is Caleb at our house playing in the front yard. He knows that cars are going by constantly, and sometimes they go by a little bit too fast. He's playing basketball in our driveway. Knowledge is this: I know cars are going by. Discretion is when the ball goes into the road, don't just go after the ball. Discretion is I understand the danger, I stop, I look, and I apply the knowledge that I have and look at situations to see what may happen. Remember last week, we talked about the simple man and the strange woman. What happens is the simple man is going to her house. He understands who she is, but what he did not grasp was a destruction that would come after that. Wisdom is looking at this as she sees not only what's happening, but also the destruction that will happen. That is who wisdom abides by. So if you have wisdom, you will also know her friends as well. You must have wisdom, prudence, discretion, and knowledge in our lives to keep us safe. But number 2 is this. Verse number 13. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. And what's that evil? Pride and arrogancy and the evil way in the forward mouth do I hate. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. It does not say the fear of the Lord is to just not get along with evil. The fear of the Lord is not just to, I'll just tolerate it. No, she says, I hate it. I despise that. How many of you will eat just about any type of food? How many of you, there are foods that you despise, you hate? Okay, just me and a few people. Liver is one of them. My wife will eat just about anything except that. She hates liver. She can't get past the thought of what liver does. I love liver, chicken liver, cow liver. I love grill it, raw. Just kidding, no. Fried. It is great. But as you know, there are some foods that I despise. One of them is onions. I taught y'all well. I look at it, I'm like, I tried. I was talking to June, and she's like, have you tried it this way? I said, I love to cook with it. I even try it every once in a while, hoping that my taste buds have changed. And I put it in my mouth, I think, nope, they sure have not changed. See, wisdom says there are some things in my life that I don't tolerate. I don't want them in my house. I don't want them in my yard. I don't want them with my friend. I don't want nothing to do with them. And what are those? So number 2 is this. What does wisdom hate? Idea is this. To have wisdom is to hate evil. You cannot tolerate evil and say that I am wise. Joseph comes to mind. Joseph, hey, Caleb, come here, buddy. You are Joseph. Quickly. All right, Joseph, you're fast. I am Potiphar's wife. Here is Joseph. Every day I say, hey, Joseph, come here, man. Come on, Joseph. Come with me. Don't come with me. Come with me, Joseph. Come on, Joseph. Come. Every day, Bible says. And he is showing wisdom. I know what is right. I have prudence. I have discretion. If I follow you, there will be destruction for me. And his answer is no, no, no. And then finally, Potiphar's wife says, no, come with me. And he says, I cannot do this great wickedness and sin against my God. He said, wisdom means that I hate the wickedness that you are going to do with me. I do not want that. And he runs back away. He says, I'm out of here. I do not want it. I do not like it. I don't want anything to do with that. He did not say, well, to make you happy, I will just sit right here in your bed chamber and you can do what you want. No, he said, no, I don't want nothing to do with your talking, with your thinking, with anything about that. He put on his running shoes and said, I'm out of here. To have wisdom means I hate evil. I don't want to tolerate it in my life. I want nothing to do with that. I hate evil. The fear of the Lord is to hate evil. Reverence for God means you are not neutral towards evil. How many of you, I've asked this before, some of you watch sports. Sometimes I watch sports just because I like watching sports. I have no skin in the game. Both teams I don't care about. I just like watching the sport itself. My son would come in and say, hey, Dad, who are you going for? I would say, it doesn't matter. I just want to have a good game, watch a good football game, watch a good basketball, whatever the game may be. I'm neutral in that area. Sometimes we as Christians are neutral towards evil. Well, take it or leave it. It's okay. It's just not really hurting me right now. I mean, my life isn't devastated. I'm just kind of neutral towards that. If we have a reverence for God, means we cannot be neutral towards evil. Not only does wisdom leave evil, she hates it, but she loathes it. Not only does she say, no, I'm just going to leave that there, she hates every bit of that. What are wisdom's closest friends? Prudence, knowledge, discretion. What does she hate? She hates every bit of evil. But number 3, verse number 14. Counsel is mine and sound wisdom. I am understanding. I have strength. The third thing is this. I think this is what is popular on resumes. Is what attributes do you have? I'm going to ask a question. Be honest, even if it's embarrassing. How many of you have padded your attributes? Okay. How many of you think to yourself, I'm kind of like this, so I'll go ahead and put this down. For instance, I hope nobody who has seen my resume hears this, because I'll tell you what I padded on in my resume. I know sign language. I'm not proficient in sign language. If I was talking to a deaf person, I can get by. By no means can I listen to my own sermon and translate that. I speak way too fast to translate that. My mom, on the other hand, is very good at it. That's why I'm familiar with it, because she would sign things to me across from the church. I'm like, oh, she's mad at me. I better sit down. I've been to deaf camps and taught kids and those types of things. So I would put on there, well, I know sign language, but I don't use it. I've tried using it at fast food restaurants to talk to people, and then they would give me another sign that's not very appropriate, and I would stop. Like, okay, you don't like me. Okay, cool with that. And so I put it on there. If I were to put, I've had 3 years of Spanish. I have. They would think, oh, good. He can speak Spanish. But guess what? No habla español. I do not speak Spanish. Zero. Zilch. No. I learned nothing in those 3 years of Spanish. Sometimes we as people would kind of say, you know what? I need this job. I'm going to look way deep in my life to pull out stuff to do. Here is what wisdom says. These are my attributes. I am this. When you see wisdom, you know I am this. This is who I am. She might as well wear a name tag saying my name is this. So the third thing is this. What attributes does wisdom have? We see this, that wisdom enables people to give sound advice. Have you ever gotten bad advice? I've gotten bad advice. I have probably given bad advice at some point in my life. But wisdom, if you have wisdom, God's wisdom, you are able to give sound advice. Because you are not using your own words, your own knowledge, you are using the wisdom of God. Wisdom also makes a person courageous. That's what it says here in verse number 14. I am understanding, I give counsel, I have strength. Makes them courageous like a soldier. That's what that I have strength represents. That she is able to know what I can stand courageous in this because I know who has control of my life. The fourth thing is this, verses 15 and 16. By me, by wisdom, kings reign and princes decree justice. By me, princes rule and nobles, even all the judges of the earth. Number 4 is this. What position does wisdom hold? When you are thinking about a good king, a good president, a good leader, a good whatever, I think one of the qualities that you would want is I hope that person is wise. What does Solomon ask for when God said, I'll give you anything? I want wisdom. I want to be able to judge my people well. That leadership and wisdom, you would want to go hand in hand. And so here wisdom is saying, what positions has she held? The first thing is that many people gain, sustain, and exercise power by using wisdom. Don't say this out loud. Please don't say this out loud, because I know some thoughts that you'll be thinking. When you look back at all the presidents that you have been alive for, immediately you think of, you put them good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. You put them in these categories. When you look back at them and say, why did I think these were bad? I dare say you thought they did not use wisdom in the decisions that they have made. They didn't think about this. There was no wisdom, no understanding, no knowledge going on. And she says that in order to have power, in order to have authority, you need wisdom to be able to again sustain the authority that you may have. Number 5 is this, verses 17 through 21. I love them that love me, and those that seek me early shall find me. How many of you are early risers? You just, love getting up. You just love getting up in the morning. This is the best thing ever. My son, Caleb, is. Everybody else in the house is not. Saturday mornings, we want to let's just rest. Caleb's like, let's go. I'm like, no, let's not go. So she says this, I love them that love me. Those that seek me early shall find me. I think you know this statement very well. The Early bird gets the worm. See, what happens is we need to be able to seek that early. Not just, my timetable, but first thing, I need the wisdom, God's wisdom in my life. Verse number 18. Riches and honor are with me. What? Yea, durable riches and righteousness. Wait a minute. So if I have wisdom, I'm going to be rich. Verse number 19. My fruit is better than gold, yea, than fine gold, and my revenue than choice silver. Boy, why would you not want wisdom? I'm going to be the richest man alive. Verse number 20. I lead in the way of righteousness, in the midst of the paths of judgment, that I may cause those that love me to inherit substance, and I will fill their treasures. Number 5, and lastly, is this. What can you expect from wisdom? When I left Builder's First Source, I had a couple of interviews. I'm not going to tell you where. One of them obviously was Taco Bell. I would not tell you what the other one is. So I went to the Taco Bell one first. No, I went to the other one first. And it's been a long time since I've been into 2 years. I've interviewed people. And so I'm sitting down, and the manager in training sits down in front of me. And nothing was said. Silence. Okay. So I say something. And they answer me. Silence. Wait a minute. I'm not interviewing you. You're interviewing me. And then they asked me some questions, and I answered it. And then they asked something like, this is what I expect of you. This is a job. This is what we expect. Now, I asked that same similar question. Okay, that's what you expect of me. Now, what are some things that I can expect from you? Very quiet. 1 word, 2 words. I'm thinking this did not go well at all. The question is, what can you expect from wisdom? Oftentimes we're asked, well, if you're on the team, what can I expect of you? Are you somebody who's always on time? I'm the type of person who's not only on time, but I'm early. Even at Taco Bell, but I'm not supposed to be clocked in early. I'm always there waiting, and then I clock in. That's just me. Some people are a minute late, 2 minutes late. I say, well, you're late. No, I'm on time. No, you were late. Only by a minute. No, that's late. What is wrong with you? That's what you expect. So when you look at wisdom, what would you expect to happen? If you have wisdom, what should you expect? The first thing is this. Wisdom desires to richly reward those who will diligently seek her. It gives the idea that she is actively looking to see who she can. Well, if we seek wisdom, if we have wisdom, she is looking for ways. How can I help? How can I bless this person? How can I give this person something more than what they have? I enjoy bosses who will just give something out of nowhere. Hey, here's a small gift to say thank you for your work. What? Thanks. Man, that's what wisdom does. How can I help this person? She says, I can richly bless them. Number 2 is this. She says, what I have to offer is better than any riches you can think of. Oh, I can think of a lot of riches. $1 trillion, $1 bazillion. Boy, I can think of a lot. She said, boy, I can bless you in so many ways that is far better than any riches. And so I am listening to her, and I think if I accept her, boy, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have money coming out of the wazoo. But that's not the riches she's talking about. What riches is she talking about? The third thought is this, verse number 20. Wisdom will lead to righteousness. If I have wisdom, well, how? I just find myself constantly doing the wrong thing. Boy, I keep making mistakes. I'm on the road, and in my mind and in my heart, I want to do the right thing, but I always find myself making mistakes. Wisdom will lead you to righteousness. It is a steady and continuous walk. I was talking to this young person one day. This person asked me, said, I was invited to this party, and I'm not sure if I ought to go. So I asked this person, I said, is there going to be a chance there is something at this party that you cannot biblically do and have a clear conscience afterwards? She said, I don't think there will be, but there is a chance that something could be there that I cannot partake of or do and be able to be right with God after that. I said, my advice is, don't go. She said, yes, that's what I was thinking too. I said, that's wisdom. Wisdom is telling you the righteous path is this path. Foolishness was trying to get you to go the other direction. Wisdom is a steady, continuous walk in righteousness. Wisdom and righteousness go hand in hand. The last thought is this. Wisdom's reward is not just a little, but it is in abundance. If you have wisdom, you will have an abundance of the blessings of God. Does that always mean money? No, absolutely not. We'll think about practical things. Wisdom could be buying food or buying a vehicle, all these types of things. What ifs? We were talking about shoes too today. Cody works from 1 to 5 on Sundays. He comes home today, and we looked at his shoes in both pairs. Sorry, left foot and the right shoe. They both have a hole in them. And I'm like, didn't you just buy those shoes? He said, yeah. I said, when you get paid, go down and get good quality shoes that will last longer than a couple of weeks. He said, I'll just go to this other store and get them. I said, you've already bought 2 or 3 pair. And the idea is now, he's the type of person who could probably go through any quality of shoes at any rate because of the job that he does and those kinds of things. He's just hard on shoes. But I was trying to get him to understand that maybe spending more is better than buying 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 things and actually spending more money in the process. Wisdom. So wisdom teaches us to be wise in our thinking, wise in our doings, and it will be an abundance of reward that she offers. So the question is this: is wisdom a part of your life? Is it a part of your team? Do you have wisdom, as is here? I, wisdom, dwell with prudence, knowledge, and discretion. The fear of the Lord, she hates evil. What do you allow or tolerate in your life? What about righteousness? Are you following the paths of righteousness? What can you expect? What do people expect from those who have the wisdom of God? Is she a part of your team? Is she a part of your life? Let's pray. God, thank you for all you've given us. As we leave here, that we will meditate and chew upon what you have spoken to us about in this very practical book of Proverbs. And I do pray as we leave that we would use your wisdom to conduct every part of our lives. We love you, and I pray. Amen. Don't forget, Sunday we have potluck, which is casseroles. Bring all